Miss April.
Hi, guys. Oh, Billy, you look so nice.
Thank you. My mama made this sports blazer.
Well, she did a great job. Doesn't he look nice, Beulah?
He looks all right.
She's just salty because Mama made my jacket before sewing her new dress.
Well, the person from the Bible we're going to learn about today got a new coat or robe made by his mom every year. Do you guys know who that was?
Yeah.
Well, who was it?
Joseph.
Oh, was he that guy who got the coat with all the colors and his brothers were all jealous of him? They just couldn't be happy for him that he got something nice.
And for good reason. They didn't get no new coats. Clearly they weren't the favorites.
Mama had to order your dress fabric. That's why she made my coat first.
Guys, you're right about Joseph getting a special coat or robe, but that was given to him by his father. Plus, the Bible only mentions him getting one.
Oh.
The person we're learning about today got a new robe every year that was made by his mom.
Oh, who could that be? I don't think I know.
His name was Samuel, and his mother's name was Hannah.
Hannah. Now that would have been a good one when my mama was hunting through the Bible for girl names. Wouldn't Hannah and some other nice Bible name have been better than Beulah Dorcas?
Well, I'm sure your mom wanted to give you a name with special meaning, just like Hannah did for Samuel.
Why is the name Samuel special, Miss April?
Well, for starters, it has the word God in it.
What?
It's a Hebrew name, so it should really be pronounced Samuel. In Hebrew, El means God. Hebrew words with El have the word God in them.
You got some examples, Miss April?
Yes, Israel or Israel means struggles with God. Bethel or Bethel means house of God. Also names like Michael, Gabriel, Eleazar.
El Paso.
Oh, that's a Spanish name. El in Spanish means the. So El Paso just means the pass or the gap between two mountains.
What about El Camino? Our Uncle Skeeter drives one of those cars.
That's also Spanish. It means the way.
Oh.
The name Samuel means herd of God.
Herd of God? Our papa's got a herd, but wow, God's got one too.
Billy?
Well, I reckon somebody wasn't paying attention, as usual.
What you mean?
Wednesday night,
Wednesday night?
when we were helping out in Booger Ray's class,
I remember they were all coloring pictures of cows. Our little brother, Booger Ray, made all his cows purple.
the lesson that night was how God owns the cows on 1,000 hills.
Oh, I couldn't listen good because I had to make sure Booger Ray didn't bite none of the other kids, like if they tried to take his purple crayon.
Guys, Psalm 50 does say that God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. That's a poetic way of saying that God owns everything, that He owns the whole world.
Oh.
But the name Samuel doesn't mean H-E-R-D, herd of God, like a group of cows. It's H-E-A-R-D, herd, like you hear with your ears.
Oh.
That thing you don't do too good.
What was that?
Why don't we get back to our story about Samuel and Hannah?
Why did Samuel's mama name him God Heard?
Well, let's back up to the beginning. Hannah was married to a man named Elkanah.
Elkanah? Did he have God in his name too?
Yes, his name means God has acquired. Very good, Billy. Elkanah lived in the city of Ramah.
Is that where ramen noodles come from?
No.
Oh.
Elkanah had 2 wives, Hannah and Peninnah.
2 wives at the same time?
Yes, this was allowed in Bible times, but like with Adam and Eve, God's plan for marriage is just for one man and one woman to be married.
My husband someday is gonna need a whole big bunch of money. I got a list of things I want to get. A big old house with a swimming pool. I want to go on vacation every month. Oh, and I don't want to have to clean the potty. So he's gonna have to hire somebody to do that chore.
Miss April, can we get back to the guy from Raman?
Ramah. Yes, his wife Penina had children, but Hannah didn't. This made Hannah really sad.
Well, why didn't she just get her a nice cat or a dog?
A pet just isn't the same as having a child. When you get older, you'll understand.
After seeing how Booger Ray acts, I don't think I want any kids. Mama caught him making mud pies with her special wedding china the other day. He was digging up the dirt with one of her saucers.
Oh, goodness. But to answer your question about why it was so important to Hannah to have children, one reason was because Penina was constantly pointing out how she had children, but Hannah did not.
Well, that's ugly.
Yes, the Bible calls them rivals, so the two women were not friends. The second reason she was so sad was because she desperately wanted a son.
Why? Girls are so much better.
Both girls and boys are great, but in Bible times, having a son was really important.
To get bugs out of the house, I had to get a cricket out of the house the other day for Mama. I'm pretty sure Booger Ray brought it back in his pocket when we went fishing with Uncle Skeeter.
Bug removal is a nice service that sons provide, but in Bible times, the firstborn son was the one who was responsible for taking care of his parents when they got old.
Oh, I reckon that'd be your job, Billy.
Our dad's always talking about his 401k for when he retires, whatever that is.
It's money you save up for later in life, but back then there weren't any retirement plans or government programs, so when someone became too old to work, they relied on their oldest son to help them.
Oh.
Jesus was the eldest son, and he made sure his mama was taken care of while he was on the cross.
He did?
Yes. He told his disciple John that Mary was now his mama and that John was now her son. The Bible says that John took her into his home after that and took care of her.
What about his dad? His earthly dad, I mean.
Since Joseph isn't mentioned at the crucifixion, it probably means that he had already passed away.
Oh, no.
Getting back to our story. Elkanah's family would all travel to Shiloh once a year to worship God.
We took a field trip there last year.
Huh? I think you're talking about Shiloh National Park here in Tennessee. The city named Shiloh that Elkanah's family went to was in Israel. It was the place where the Ark of the Covenant was kept and where the people would go to make their sacrifices to God.
Oh, okay.
Poor Hannah didn't eat every year while they were there and spent the whole time crying.
Why?
Because she was so sad that she didn't have a son.
This story's making me sad, Miss April.
Well, let's keep going, and I think you'll get cheered up. One year, Hannah went to the tabernacle and prayed. She promised God that if he would give her a son, then she would dedicate him to the Lord.
Like a Nazarite.
That's right! Wow, that's really good, Billy.
I remember that word from when you told me about Samson.
Yes, and just like Samson, Hannah promised God that her son's hair wouldn't be cut.
Not even a little trim to get rid of the split ends?
Probably not.
So God gave her Samuel? Samuel?
Yes, and she gave him a name that means God heard, because God had heard her request for a son.
Well, I guess that made old Panera stop being mean to her.
Penina, yes, probably so.
Now she could eat a whole big bunch when she went to Shiloh every year.
Well, she didn't go for the next few years.
Why?
She wanted to stay home with baby Samuel. But when he was 3 or 4 years old, she took him to the tabernacle at Shiloh and left him there with Eli the priest.
The priest babysat him?
And no, she gave Samuel to the priest to be his helper.
For how long?
For the rest of his life. This was part of her promise to God. She had promised to give him to the Lord.
Wait, he was gonna live in Shiloh with Eli
Yes.
all the time?
Yep.
Do you gotta make that agreement before they're born?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I was just wondering if it's too late for Mama to give Billy and Booger Ray to the Lord.
Beulah!
Well, I'm just saying that the pastor might be able to use a couple of helpers.
He has assistant pastors and a full-time staff.
Did Samuel not get to see his mama no more?
Hannah visited him every year when they took their annual trip to the tabernacle. That's when she would bring him a new robe that she had made for him every year.
I would personally help Mama make you a new coat every year, Billy, if you want to come live here at the church.
No, thank you. Miss April, didn't Hannah miss him? It was kind of like not having a son if she only got to see him once a year.
Yes, I'm sure it was really hard for her, but she had made a promise to God, and she kept her promise. After she did what she had said she'd do, God blessed her with 3 more sons and 2 daughters.
Oh, good. She finally got some girls.
Did Samuel like living at the temple?
Well, it wasn't a temple. That was built years later by King David's son, Solomon. But yes, he seemed to be treated well by Eli the priest and seemed to enjoy serving at the tabernacle.
What exactly is a tabernacle?
Our Mama and Papa's last name is Tabernacle. Herschel and Pearline Tabernacle.
Well, tabernacle means dwelling place. The tabernacle was a big tent where the Israelites made sacrifices to God and kept the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, it must have been a big old tent to keep the ark inside. It had 2 of all them animals inside it.
No. The Ark of the Covenant was very different from Noah's Ark. It was a special gold box that God had Moses make to keep the stone tablets that had the 10 Commandments written on them.
Oh.
Didn't that also have a jar of manna in it, Miss April?
Yes! Wow, Billy!
I remember you said that when we were learning about Joshua.
You're on a roll today. You recognize that Elkanah's name had the Hebrew word for God in it, and you also remembered the word Nazarite.
Since you got such a knack for remembering Bible stuff, maybe you should live here at the church and learn how to be a future pastor. Booger Ray could live here with you so you don't get lonely.
No, thank you. I'm going to be a professional baseball player for the Atlanta Braves when I grow up.
Something else that was in the Ark of the Covenant was a walking stick that had belonged to Moses' brother Aaron. God made his stick grow flowers and almonds on it overnight to show that God had selected Moses and Aaron to lead the Israelite people.
Oh, I love chocolate-covered almonds, especially the kind that have sea salt on them. Miss April, I've been thinking, did Eli not have any kids? Is that why Samuel had to be his helper?
No, Eli did have 2 sons, but they were really bad.
How so?
They were supposed to help Eli make the sacrifices for the people, but instead of doing it the way that God wanted them to do it, they did it their own way. They did a lot of bad things.
Good grief, seems like Eli would have made them act right.
Yes, and because he didn't, God gave Samuel a message about Eli's sons one night.
How'd he do that? They didn't have no iMessages back then.
God spoke to Samuel out loud. At first, Samuel thought that Eli was calling him, so he ran to him. Eli told him that he hadn't called him and told him to go back to bed. Samuel heard his name called 3 times, and each time he ran to Eli to see what he wanted.
God called him by name?
Yes. God not only knows all of our names, but he has even named every one of the stars in the sky.
What? I'm going to have to tell my best friend Hezekiah that. He loves astronomy.
I think you mean astronomy.
What did God tell him, Miss April?
Well, the 3rd time that Samuel went running to Eli's room to find out what he wanted, Eli realized that it must be God who was calling him. So Eli told Samuel to go back and lay down, and if he heard a call again, to say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening."
Did it happen again?
Yes. Samuel replied that he was listening for whatever God wanted to tell him, and God told Samuel that he was going to judge Eli's sons for the bad things they'd been doing. The next morning, Eli asked him if God had spoken to him.
Oh, goodness, did he tell him what God said?
Yes. Samuel told him exactly what God had said. That must have taken courage since he was just a boy, and Eli was the person who was taking care of him.
What did Eli do?
He knew that it was the word of the Lord because his sons were not doing what was right. Later, both of Eli's sons died in battle against the Philistines on the same day that Eli died.
Oh, goodness.
Did Samuel get to go home then?
Well, by that time, Samuel was a grown-up. He was loved and respected by all the people of Israel because they recognized that God spoke to Samuel. He became a leader of the people. Every year he would take a trip throughout Israel, but he lived in Ramah.
Ramah, that's where his mama lived.
Yes, even though Hannah didn't get to be with him as he grew up, Samuel eventually moved back to the city where Hannah and Elkanah lived.
Wow, that's a real nice story, Miss April.
We'll be learning some more about Samuel in the coming weeks. We're starting a new series about the kings of Israel, and Samuel was involved in anointing the first 2 kings.
Miss April, I gotta go.
Where are you going?
I just saw the pastor walk by and I want to go ask him something. Bye now.
Well, I wonder what that was about.
Yeah, I wonder. I bet she wants to ask him which one of these classrooms can be turned into my bedroom.